Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Today we'll be taking a deep dive into matters law, and what better way to other than speak to the top players in this game. We're going to be honored to speak to none other than Mr. Allan Mzungu, who's a partner at MMS Advocates. And just before he comes up, I just realized I've not introduced myself. My name is Laban Cliff, a friend to this farm, and yeah, it's a good opportunity to actually come and kind of show you my other skills behind the scenes. So this is what I do for fun.
All right.
Good to see you, Allan.
Good to see you, Laban.
Thank you for coming. Us, yeah. I think the question among many is, MMS Advocates. First, why the name? How did you start? Basically, the journey to becoming who you are today.
All right. So my name is Allan Mzungu, as I've been introduced by my good friend Laban. I am the partner who manages this firm called MMS, and MMS initials of names of the partners. So as law firms, we're required by our Advocates Act to practice in the name of the partners. So the M stands for a certain name, the M for a certain name, and the S also for a different name. So that's what makes up MMS. We choose to go as a brand MMS as opposed to our individual names because we want to put out the corporate face of the firm. We want our clients to be used to this brand as opposed to individuals. How we started in 2016, my partner and I, Felicia Solomon, who we had this vision when we were working together in our places of employment that we want to do practice at a very high level, meaning we want to practice on the biggest, the best, the most challenging transactions, work with the most complex clients to give them solutions at also prices which are fair and favorable.
What that is interesting is because more often than not, I think the layman perspective of law firms is this, top, straight jacket, unapproachable, highly expensive sort of suit. And what you're saying is you'd want to have it different than maybe perhaps what is perceived out there.
Yes, so different, not that we may be less costly than what you anticipate. The cost is relative depending on who you're talking to, but we want to offer solutions which are also affordable within our market. We are practicing in a market which we understand the dynamics of the clients who are looking for solutions and what their capability is in terms of their budget and their spending power. So we want to meet their requirements within their budget and also offer them cutting-edge legal solutions.
Yeah. So for aside from the law firm, let's talk about you. I mean, I think looking at your profile, it's quite interesting. Allan, you began also in a, can I say, what I call it, blue chip law firm as well. Transition out, and actually call yourself an entrepreneur. How did you make that move to starting your own?
So the move was not easy to make. It was not obvious for me when I was becoming a lawyer that I will one day start and run a firm.
Yeah.
Although the dream has been that it will be good, and I think it will be nice to be in a space where I manage my time and put my resources in such a business. So the decision came to while I was still employed. My partner Felicia and I, we would spend a lot of time discussing the possibilities of what this could mean if we were to take the plunge to set up such a thing. What inspired me and Felicia to start this firm is generally we had a vision where we wanted to be different. We wanted to manage time for ourselves and offer also services to clients in a way which what we try to call work-life balance now works out for everyone. The culture which we've brought at the firm is one where we enjoy what we do, and we live also to enjoy life outside work, and work also is a big part of our life. So we teach our staff to do the same, and and everyone who works here is of that culture where we are sort of very easy on how we carry ourselves in terms of relating with each other, but also very demanding of each other in terms of how we execute the assignments each one of us has.
But why I'm saying that is because I think it's just advice that you can give to the young lawyers, young professionals straight out of maybe it's Kenya School of Law or they're just out of doing their law degree. I think what would you advise? To just jump straight into your own firm or go somewhere, get to learn the ropes, jump into a corporate. I don't know what advice you give so that the young lawyers can get a 360 perspective of everything.
It's a difficult one, Laban. I don't see myself as a mentor to any young lawyer who would look up to and say, I want to be like Allan. But if that's the case for anyone, I think it's important for you to work under someone. I did myself for many years. You need to be able to serve and lead by service to a boss or to a supervisor, and to be able to get the work ethic which you need and the discipline which you need to be able to manage yourself when you're doing your own firm. So I will advise that someone takes up a job, learns under an experienced hand, especially in the areas where they feel they want to further their career path towards. If you want to be a commercial lawyer, work in a commercial law firm, work with very serious commercial lawyers and learn from them before you choose to go out on your own, because the experience also is something which will help you in your own firm.
Great. Yeah. I mean, the advice, to the young lawyers out there, I hope you pick out something for yourselves. Anyway, so we've spoken about your farm, we've spoken about you and how you managed to transition into this, and advice to young folks. I think I want to shift gears now and just talk to you about the clientele. I think I'm a proud client of MMS, I should mention, full disclosure. The aspect is just about the touch point, the customer touch point, because this is a service. You want to make sure you can call your lawyer and they can pick up really quick and respond to you. But for the folks out there, I think I'm talking about large corporations, other investors as well. What do they actually look for in a preferred law firm to work with?
All right, so this is I think both my own insights and scientific. We have a tool which we use to analyze feedback which we get from our current clients and also prospects who approach us on our website and other handles. So what we found that clients look for mostly in a lawyer is one, availability. Beyond being a great lawyer, beyond being smart and aggressive, they want someone they can pick up the phone and call. The same way, Laban, you'll be able to, at any point, call me and say, hey, Allan, where are we on this transaction? Where do we move next? And you'll be able to get the feedback right away, or you'll send an email or a text. So availability is one key factor. Two is, of course, competence. They want a lawyer who either comes recommended as knowing this sector or this field of practice, and especially within the assistance they're looking for. So if it's a client who requires assistance in a transaction where they're purchasing land, they would like to hear from the person recommending us that we are competent in handling land transactions. Or if it's someone in a big government negotiation for a big government contract, then they want to know that we have capacity and experience to do that. So two is competence, and then three is, of course, credibility, which boils down into being trustworthy. A lot of concerns which most people have, those who've worked with lawyers and those who haven't, is whether I can trust my lawyer. Like you say, it's a service. It's something which you as a client are opening yourself up to your lawyer with your personal information, with details which the lawyer could use to sometimes further their own interest if they chose to. So whether this lawyer is trustworthy, and that comes from the credibility which they get having gotten feedback from former clients or people who have worked and known them. So generally, you find clients looking for lawyers consider those three things.
Let's look at how do you wade off quacks. I'm looking about international investors. They come in, they want to set up shop. The first question is, I need a lawyer to work with.
Okay.
Before they get to MMS, they maybe go through some maybe other fake lawyers out there, perhaps. But what's your advice? Because I'm sure some of them are watching or come across the clip as well, and they want to ask, okay, wait a minute, I've been duped before, but I don't know how exactly to actually tell who's who.
Yeah, so it's really difficult. I think the market we're dealing with is one where people are in it for different reasons. The same way you have accountants who are not very diligent at their work, and they give reports about their clients which are not the true reflection of those accounts, and then later on you find this big organization has gone under, yet the accountants had given, or the auditors had given a clean bill of health, and some of those are big brands. So for lawyers, it is the same thing. If you're coming in looking for a lawyer to assist you, I think it is very important to get either a referral, someone who will tell you they've worked with this lawyer, and this lawyer is competent in what you're looking for assistance for and can be trusted. Two, very easily you can look at their handles. And most lawyers now are available online, Twitter, Instagram, Google My Business.
It's a skill set. So you guys have had to learn how to make sure your profile is out there. And
correct. So Laban,
so there's a communication aspect to it as well.
People look for assistance online. The same way, if you're looking to shop now, you will be on an online platform looking for whatever you're shopping for. Very rarely will you find people now going into the shops to look for the items they want to buy. So we have had as lawyers to reinvent ourselves. Many law firms now have websites, they have social media handles, and you can be able to check the reviews on those handles and see what the clients say about working with them. So that can be a good place to filter. Three, there's the Law Society of Kenya. You can always request these lawyers to give you the clearance by the Law Society of Kenya that there is no disciplinary action which they have ongoing or they have determined against them. And that can be comfort for you to start saying that, okay, this lawyer looks like they have no issues and I can work with them.
Yeah. It's quite difficult, to be honest. I think speaking out of case example is you have friends, of course, who you go out there, they're really interested, and you always just say, okay, well, who do I work with? But you really don't have that. I think maybe it's also a challenge, maybe, I don't know, for the Law Society of Kenya, because there's a whole list, of course, and how to disband them, the quacks, I'm saying, on that front. So I think as we shift gears, maybe do this to a landing, it's how do you see the profession growing? I think for right now, as you speak, it's funny because the country and the world is watching the Supreme Court proceedings regarding the presidential petitions. So there's a whole term to the legal profession. Most Kenyans may not understand the amicus curiae and etc. of the other legalese. But where are we at? First, as a country, in terms of our legal profession, and where do you see the profession going?
All right. I see the profession growing. Today being 30th August 2022, the day one of hearings at the Supreme Court on the presidential petition, you find that a lot of Kenyans are glued on their screen watching that. And these are laymen, not just lawyers, watching that day in, day out. You find people discussing that on social media, people giving their views, people quoting statute, constitution, case law, and what have you. And these are laymen. So the awareness about law and general legal provisions is more cross-cutting now within the country. Also, as a people, I think we're becoming more litigious. You will hear this phrase more often than before. Talk to my lawyers, or I will sue you, or you'll hear from my lawyers. And more people are saying that, not just as empty threats, because they do have lawyers who you will hear from if they were to action their threats. So I think the profession is still going to grow because we are getting more litigious. We also have a generation which is more aware about their rights in terms of the youth of this country who are now more well-versed about their rights than previous generations and are more willing to take up roles to exercise their rights. The access to justice also, not to give credence only to the judiciary, but the online filing of cases, the online handling of cases has made it very easy for citizens and anyone to be able to access the courts much easier than having to travel to a physical space, which still happens in some cases, to conduct the cases. So I see this sector growing. More and more people are churning, more and more universities are churning law graduates, and that number is coming into the labor force and into service of Kenyans. So it's still going to grow as time goes. Yes, that's my prediction.
Regionally, we have the East African Court of Justice. I have done a lot of work with the East African community as well. How do you see that panning out?
So regionally, speaking for I think Kenyan lawyers and ourselves, we are practicing more and more now, not just in Kenya but within the East Africa community and across continents, because transactions now happen from multinationals who are looking to come into, let's say, the East African region, and Kenya is increasingly becoming the landing point. So a business which was only in Europe or Asia looking to come into Africa used to land in South Africa. Now they're landing in Kenya. They're making Kenya their hub. So Kenyan lawyers are becoming very important people to connect them to the rest of Africa once they land here. So you are the first point of contact. The client trusts you. They look for recommendations or for you to handle and coordinate their legal needs in all these other countries. And as MMS, we are doing a lot of that, and we're finding that space to be a niche area which a lot of people haven't got to, but it is something which is still growing. We're seeing an increase in those inquiries and interest in that, and we anticipate that it will continue to grow.
And even I think as we move along, I mean, you have Kenyans who are in these markets as well. They might just say, you know what,
Exactly.
I still want to work with my law firm that's domiciled in Kenya, even if I'm in a different country, you know?
Correct.
So lastly, I mean, it sounds like it's a very, very busy profession. What do you do for fun?
So work is fun, but other than work, I read a lot of books which have nothing to do with law. I like to read other people's stories about their, especially coming to stories. You know, someone who has achieved something and having overcome adversity. I like to read those stories. I also enjoy movies. One of the clients we represent are one of the biggest movie or cinema owners in this country, and beyond just representing them, I enjoy visiting their premises and watching movies. Most times I'm up to date to the latest movie to
So I'm
the
sure
day.
they give you free subscriptions now that you're the lawyers, so you have free subscriptions to the movies.
Yes, but those we give to our clients. When I go there myself, I pay. Yeah.
All right. So any lawyer you look up to, speak about one in the country and one abroad? Or maybe
I think
they're both.
so. For me, not really individuals and personalities that I look up to. I look at great practices which have been built locally, and they've gone out to the region and also globally. I think we have some powerhouse law firms in this country which are indigenous, which are within Africa. They're looked at also as top law firms. So we call them, I think, the magic circle in this country. I wouldn't like to mention names, but those law firms, I think, as long as they stay around, give our brands also hope, even as we come up, that we can have a journey which is similar to those firms, and we can also open up a new frontier beyond what those firms as our predecessors have done. And that challenges us every day, and we look forward to a place where we will also have other brands in terms of law firms look at us and say we opened new frontiers for them, and they also venture into bigger spaces than us.
That's great. And then you mentioned a very interesting point there just before I let you go. The thing is about the space. What do you call it? The circle? What is it?
Magic circle.
Oh, the magic circle. Okay. There is a conversation that most of these representatives of the magic circle are actually more of Twitterati, which is very active online perhaps, and maybe will not give you very strong briefs. So is there like a disconnect there where you find that there are many lawyers who are very vocal on social media, but you might not get value for your worth maybe when you go to their law firms?
So I think that's for clients to judge. I've worked in the magic circle firms. I think my whole employment, the period I was employed, I would say they offer good value for money because they have staff who are qualified to do what services they offer. And in some areas, those services are niche. Now, depending on who you ask, some will say the payment or the fees charged, exorbitant and too much. But those clients are willing to pay, so they know what the value they're getting. Same for our clients who are willing to pay and get the value we give them.
Okay. Yeah. Final advice to your people people watching us, and of course to your clients? What would you say?
To our clients, I'd like to thank our clients for supporting us all these years. The referrals, each person you've sent to us has made us grow from where we were, and we are really grateful, and we would not take that for granted. To anyone else watching who is possibly looking for assistance, approach MMS, approach a lawyer who you think can assist you. Be very specific about the assistance you need. Be very involved in your matter. I think it is important for you as a client looking for assistance to set the tone and have the terms of how you want to be handled. And that puts you in a space where you're comfortable with your lawyer and service provider. Thank you.
Allan Mzungu, thank you very much for giving me the time and, of course, hosting us today.
Thank you, Laban.
Appreciate it. Well, my name is Laban Cliff. Till same time next month, next year, coming soon. Bye-bye for now.
MMS, we are your partner in growth.